Joining me now on the political segment is Honorable Benjamin Kalu, who's the spokesman of the House of Representatives. Today we'll be discussing CBN's proposed cashless policy. Honorable, thank you so much for joining us in today's program.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're most welcome. A lot of Nigerians have reacted negatively to the cashless policy recently preferred by the CBN. What's the stance of the House on this issue?
Thank you very much. I must say that the cashless policy came in 2012. And it's a wonderful policy with very good objectives, which includes transparency in the financial industry, which also includes convenience. But the most important one was to curb the cash handling, not eliminate cash, to curb the cash handling within the society. The benefits are enormous, but our problem at the moment was the directive that came out on Tuesday, which gave only 24 hours for implementation. And we have received a series of petitions, a huge outcry about this particular policy. First, when it came out in 2012, the charges were on withdrawal. While Nigerians are still under that burden, the charges now is going on deposit. And we are afraid of what it's going to do to the economy. And we are saying, was there proper stakeholder consultation? Was there proper engagement of the public? Because you know, every policy must be centered on the people for it to achieve its objectives. The people must be at the center of every policy formulation and implementation. And like I said before, the policy is fantastic. You say we cannot be outside what is obtainable around the globe. Most economies of the world, they are embracing it. Nigeria should not be outside that. It has a lot of benefit. But our question is the implementation. Is the timing right? Is the approach okay? Is the strategy at the moment the best, considering the economic weather of the country? And we are not against CBN because we believe that the objective of the current assembly is nation building as a joint task, which means it is every hand being on deck to achieve it. What we only did was, okay, we have received a lot of outcry. Within 24 hours, we were flooded. And outside being the chairman of Media and Public Affairs, I'm also the chairman of Public Affairs Committee, which means whatever concerns the public gets to us fast, and we feel the pulse of the nation. And we say, okay, if this is happening, we need to sit down and talk with the CBN to know whether there is a way to refine the rough edges, the timing, the strategy of this implementation.
So have you done that?
So that it will achieve the essence, which I know the CBN, who's supposed to be commended for this policy, because it's a wonderful policy. But the people need to buy into it.
Yeah, so have you done that? So I'm wondering, have you sat down with the appropriate departments at the central bank to ensure that exactly you're relaying the doubts and the rejection of this policy to the central bank? Because as we all know, the National Assembly cannot actually direct the CBN, right? So you can't actually tell the CBN to suspend it, and they will. They don't have to listen to you. Okay. So you can only advise, you can only consult with them. So have you guys done that?
This is the argument I've been going on, but before I attend to that, we have done that by raising a motion. That is the first step. The House, we don't operate without motions. We have mentioned it on the floor of the House, and contributions came, and this contribution came from 360 members who unanimously agreed that there is a need to sit down with CBN. And we have extended an invitation for them to come, but they should hold on what they are doing. And on the second part of what you just said, that has been the argument of so many people, and they position this argument based on Section 26 of the CBN Act, read in conjunction with Section 2 of the CBN Act, which speaks about the autonomy of the CBN, the independency of the CBN, and all the rest of them. But I always argue and take the people to the provision of the Constitution with regards to Section 4, Sub 2, which gives the National Assembly the right to make laws affecting all issues that are within the exclusive list, which CBN, which handles the currency, coins, bank, and banking, appears on item 6 and item 16 of this exclusive list. Now, when you read that in conjunction with Section 88 of the Constitution, which gives us the right to oversight and investigate on any issue that we have the capacity to legislate on, that entitles the House to call any of those who are within that exclusive list to come for discussion, either for the purposes of investigation or for oversight function, because they don't have absolute powers. No agency does. You must report to someone. You must be answerable to someone. And the House of Representatives is the people. CBN must be answerable to the people. We have a lot of instances where reliance was had on this Section 26 of the CBN Act, read with Section 2 of the CBN Act in the past. And it has always come down to, you need to be answerable. You cannot be a lord on your own, especially when the public interest is affected.
I don't want us to delve too much into the powers of the House of Representatives, because
but
I know
you raise it,
obviously,
yes.
Which is very integral to this conversation, because it will take too long, because you're mentioning oversight and investigation, but as I said, you don't have the power to give directives to the CBN. These are two completely different things. But as I said, I don't want us to delve too much into it. I'm glad you said the House of Representatives, which you're speaking on behalf of, has decided to set up a committee to look into these issues that are bothering Nigerians. But you're also mentioning that the House of Representatives as a body is in support of this new cashless policy. What do you think some benefits are that Nigerians can derive from this new policy?
I've mentioned that before, and I said the benefits are enormous. We are not saying we are against the policy.
Yeah, what are the benefits?
I made that clear. Such as, this policy will help curb cash handling in the society. Curb it, not eliminate it. One, it will help to bring transparency in the financial industry. It will help agencies like NFIU to monitor transactions. It will help to curb terrorism finance. Okay? So there are a lot of benefits associated with this. Also, let me tell you this. If well managed, it is going to impact favorably on startups, because the startups, they derive their will from funding from the banks. Credit extension. If well managed, there will be more deposits. But as it is now, there is this apathy against deposit mobilization. If the public are going to be taxed while they are depositing their money, they will develop an apathy. They will run away from bringing their money to the bank. And if that happens, it is going to affect the liquidity of the banks. And if the liquidity of the bank is affected, you know that the resultant effect is that the credit extension, which is supposed to go to these startups, will be affected. As at 2005 to 2010, credit extension to small businesses in this country was at 0.5%. At the moment, from 2010, it is at 5% of all the credit extensions given out to small businesses. They will suffer if it is not well managed. And you know, in every economy, that the small businesses are the lifeblood of the nation, according to PwC, reporting on the the report of mentioning the report of Smedan, recently said that the small businesses contribute to 96% of all the businesses in Nigeria. They also went on to say that the small businesses generate 84%. They are responsible for 84% of employment in Nigeria. That is not all. The small business also contribute to 48% of the Nigerians' GDP. You see why it is very important that we don't mismanage the implementation of this very all-important policy that might lead to apathy towards deposit mobilization because of the ripple effect. But if well managed, the startups will benefit from it. How? You will agree with me that before now, that the liberalization on the participation in this cashless policy has been limited only to the banks. It has been bank-led, not telco-led. And some of these startups, especially the tech startups, we did not have the opportunity to embrace the industry. Currently, they have started embracing the industry, and you see the pockets in Lagos, you see in Abuja, you see in Enugu. But there are potential markets out there. And you know the major part of Nigerians live in the rural areas. And you know also that we have 60% of our population that have remained unbanked. Startups, if this policy is well implemented, those 60% will be harnessed by these startup companies who are going to produce various service options to the rural dwellers.
Yes.
But if it is not well managed, remember, they will not be able to take their innovation from the point of innovation to the point of adding benefit, adding convenience to the people who are supposed to benefit from it. Let me give you an example. What happened in Kenya? A lot of people put up this argument and say Nigerians are against cashless policy. We are not against cashless policy. We're only talking about the implementation and the model that is used in the implementation. People give example of Uganda, Kenya, and all the rest of them. But if you go very well and research, you will find out that the model used in Kenya is quite different from the model that we are using. In Kenya, it was telco-led model, where the government, through their CBN and the communication agency, ensured that telecommunication was available in all the nooks and crannies of Kenya. You don't have to have a smartphone to be able to do a transaction. They were using, or they are still using, what they call the USSD.
Yes.
That can work in Nigeria, but the question is, how many of the areas in Nigeria do you have these network connections? So, if we diversify the implementation strategy from going from bank-led to telecom-led, which have been liberalized recently because it was suffocated by the banks before now, who did not allow any other person to come in, any other sector to come in. Now that the CBN has liberalized it, I am telling you, the potentials, they are enormous, but we must do the first thing first. The first thing that CBN need to do is to channel their focus on the infrastructure deficit that is existing with regards to the current technology that handles this online transaction. Are they sufficient? I am sure you know that most of your transaction, you come back, you hear it is hanging. It has not reached the beneficiary. If somebody is on the surgery table, the doctor says, I'm not going to do this until I receive alert. The alert is not coming, not because the money has not been transferred, but because the technology is not sufficient. The argument has always been that NIBSS is a unified payment platform, which have been put in place by CBN for them to get a unified system of payment. But the question is it working the same way in all the banks across board? The answer is no. Okay. How it is efficient in Bank A is not how it is efficient in Bank B. It is important that CBN redirect their focus towards making sure that the infrastructure to deliver the expected outcome with regards to these payments online cashless policy is first in place. So that we don't put the cart before the horse.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. That's all we can take. To watch extended clips, please visit our website, weekendshowng.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at weekendshowng on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Helping us to sign off, we have a beautiful, talented young lady. And in fact, I wouldn't mention her name. It's a surprise. Take it away.
Who would die for a righteous soul like mine? Look at this heart and say you can be beautiful. Who would stretch out their hands to me and say I love you as I am, as you are, as you are. I have a reason, I